Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and this time, as I said in my previous video, I said I was going to give an update on how my locum journey is going. So here it is. But what I'm going to do in this one, instead of just sitting there talking to a camera, I am going to bake a little marble cake. Yeah, so I decided on a marble cake. So it's one that I've baked before actually, and last time it turned out 10-10. So the recipe I'm using is the BBC Good Food chocolate marble cake, which there it is, which I'm gonna put the link down below for those that might want to try it. The only thing I've changed about the recipe, so in here it says you need 225 grams of butter softened, and you need 225 grams of caster sugar and 225 grams of self-raising flour. I changed it to 175 grams of butter and 175 grams of caster sugar, which I believe I may have done last time as well, and it turned out good. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So hopefully it turns out okay, same as last time. But yeah, I'm excited. So the oven is going. It is on 180 degrees. And the pans are also ready to go. Oh, it also says that you need a cake tin, like a 20 centimeter cake tin, probably like a round one. I don't have that, so I'm going to use these. I've got two of these, so I'm basically going to make like marble loaves, but it's still like, I don't really think it matters that much as long as they're a good size. So yeah, so I'll be following that recipe, so bear with me. But yeah, so I'm going to be talking about why I decided to go locum, what I'm learning as a locum BMS, what I like, what I don't like, and what's to come next basically, which I'm really excited about. Before I get started, I've already measured out all my ingredients. So I've got my eggs here, I've got my butter, butter, I've got my flour, and I've got my caster sugar, I've got my organic, is it cocoa? Anyway, it's the cocoa powder, which is completely dairy free because I'm lactose intolerant, so I wanted something that has no milk, no dairy, no nothing in it. So this recipe is completely dairy free, none of that. So I got this from a health food shop, and it is so good, so good, and so smooth, so velvety. But yeah, this is really nice. And I'm also using soy milk. So this is Asda's version, sweetened soya milk. I use a variety of different soya milks or oat milk. So I've also got my Madagascar vanilla essence there. So as I'm baking, I'll just be talking about locum. Yay! It's gonna be 4 years next month in October as a BMS. But as I said, I left my job in August 2020, and I'm now a locum. Currently, actually, I'm on a 2-week break. I needed it. I really needed it. Yeah, so let me get started with this. I haven't got an apron, so bear with me. And I'm also not a baker, so don't come for me. So heat the oven, grease your tin, which I've already done. And I don't have a food processor, so I'm just going to be mixing this by hand. So you want to do the butter. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Was this a good idea? I don't know, but it's happening now, so it's too late. I should probably have used my round wooden spoon, but I'm gonna try this and see how this goes. Yeah, so locum. Why did I decide to go locum? I'm gonna try and talk away from the bowl so I'm not like spitting in it. Yeah, so I decided to go locum. So basically, I was thinking about it for a while. I completed my specialist portfolio in microbiology in May 2020, and I left my job in August 2020. But prior to completing my specialist portfolio, I was thinking about it for a while. So I would say like months before then. Like it always crossed my mind over like the year before, but for the last few months leading up to me completing my specialist portfolio, it was on my mind all the time. And it's one of those things, once I put my mind to something and it doesn't go away, I'm gonna end up doing it. Simple, I'm gonna end up doing it. And the main reason with this locum thing is I didn't want to regret it. I didn't want in like 2 or 3 years time, 5 years time, whatever it is, look back and be like, oh damn, I wish I did it, I just wish I did it, and then completely regret it. It's like, no, I didn't want any of that. So I just decided I'm gonna have to do it. And it just seemed like the perfect time for me right now because I don't have any commitments, I don't have any kids, I don't have a house, I'm not really held down by anything. So it came down to, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. It's down to me. And yeah, I just ended up doing it because I thought listen, I'm slowly approaching 30, so who knows, in 3-4 years time I might even have children, who knows, but it wasn't anything to hold me down as such, so it was a perfect time to do it. Like, I know it can be harder for people who've got kids, who've got a house that they've bought in one place, because obviously with locum you have to be able to be flexible, you have to be willing to move around for the jobs if you want, you know, the good rates. So if you are in a relationship where you've got kids, or something's holding you back where you can't just up and go, then it's not going to be that easy. So yeah, I had 0 commitments personally, so it was easy for me. And the joke is, I handed in my notice, it just happened to be one lunchtime. I came back home, so I hadn't even written a resignation letter prior to doing this, but I came back one lunchtime and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. So on my lunch break I made a sandwich, and then I sat down at my laptop and I wrote my resignation letter there and then, and I hadn't handed it in that day. 2 months notice, and that was it. And it was almost like a weight lifted off my shoulder, because I was thinking about it for so long. So yeah, handed that in, which was great, because it kind of meant like, okay, it's happening now, I'm doing it, that's it. Another reason is because the idea of getting paid a little bit more, because with locum rates they tend to be a little bit more than if you're a permanent member of staff. So locum rates are a bit higher, but there's a reason for that. So with locum, you don't get paid to be on maternity leave, you don't get paid to be on holiday, so you don't get annual leave pay, you don't get paid if you're ill or you're sick, so you don't get sick pay. So the higher rate kind of is basically to balance out these reasons. And also some of them you might not actually be on the workplace pension, which if it's something that you want to be on, you need to look into before you do decide to do locum, because the agency or whatever situation you end up in might not provide you with a pension, so that's something to think about. But yeah, these are all things I thought about, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that's what I did. And I also, obviously, being a locum, you apparently get paid more. I wanted to be saving for a house. Like, I gave myself a target of, if I do go locum, I want to be able to save £1,000 a month. I know it's ambitious, but I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can save £1,000 a month from August until August 2021. And I thought, okay, the only job right now that would give me that possibility is working as a locum. Something that also made me want to be a locum is the fact that I thought it would be more freedom. I anticipated more freedom. I used to do a lot of weekends, a lot of lates, a lot of on-calls as a permanent member of staff. Obviously with locum, when you look on sort of recruitment agency websites, the jobs are there. They'll specify what kind of worker they want and what hours they need that person for. So if it doesn't specify weekends and lates, you don't have to do weekends and lates, and that's something that really appealed to me. The option is there in some organisations to do those shifts if you want to, but that's not something that I wanted to do. So I anticipated that the locum thing was going to come with a lot more experience, because you're working a lot of different labs, you're experiencing working with a lot of different people, and using different equipment, different analyzers, which of course is just going to build up your skills, build up your competence on working in these different departments, which is just great. It's good skills for you, good qualities for you, and it's always going to look good when you've had a wider range of experience than just having been in one place for a long time, which is fine too, obviously. But for me, I was like, okay, this is what I can get from being a locum, is the extra experience that I'll be able to get. And I'm one of those people that's always willing to learn something new, always building my experience, because I'm quite a young BMS, like I'm still quite early in my career, so there's still a lot to learn. So I was excited of that prospect as well. And also, this is not a reason why I left, but when I was reading up on it, on the benefits of being a locum, not specifically a biomedical scientist locum, but being a locum in general, you don't have to get involved in lab politics, because why should you? You don't need to. And it's just, yeah, less stress. At the end of the day, you're there to do your job and then go home. It is what it is. But you got to remember, when you do decide to go locum, it doesn't necessarily mean that the grass is greener, because what's that saying? The grass is greener where you water it. So it doesn't mean just because you're locum, you're going to absolutely love every minute of it. The world is going to go from this to this, just how you wanted it to be. That's not the case. So expect that it's not going to be perfect. This is something that I was ready and willing and like accepted that it might not be what I think it's cracked up to be, you know? Yeah, so that's the main reasons I decided to do locum. So I didn't want to regret it. I wanted to try it. I put my mind to it, and I knew that once I put my mind to something, I'm gonna do it. I had no commitments. I wanted to save and make a little bit more money than I was making. And yeah, just the freedom of like just seeing how it's gonna be, you know, because I just wanted to try it. My first locum assignment, I've been there for 6 weeks, but obviously, like I said, I'm on a 2-week break right now. I don't want this to be too loud when I sort the video out later. Yeah, so I was there for 6 weeks, and I went from being in a really small lab to being in a really, really big lab. And for me, I think that made me realise that I like working somewhere where everything is in one place and it's not completely divided, because the people are divided in the sense that they're all different departments, and so is the work. So you don't necessarily get to speak to everyone. You might meet them. The longer you're there, you obviously associate yourself with different people. The benefits of working in a lab that's a lot bigger than a smaller department is the fact that you might be able to find yourself in a situation where you can go on secondment, which is basically moving from your normal place of work to a different work. So this could be a different department, it could be a completely different hospital, potentially even a different country or city, you know. But yeah, it gives you that opportunity. So there's pros and cons to everything, and different people will enjoy different things. So it helps you realise the things that you like and the things that you don't like. And actually this brings me on to a good point of something that I have decided in like the last few weeks is, I thought to myself, I was like, as I'm doing locum, I want to enjoy every aspect of it. Yeah, of course there'll be stuff I might not enjoy, but the whole decision of being locum as a whole, I wanted to enjoy, so I didn't want to be like completely unhappy, because then what's the point? So for me to leave a completely secure job, where I've got all these benefits, you know, the annual leave paid for, being sick paid for, whereas if I leave and go locum when I'm ill, I won't get paid for it, there's no money coming in. I was like, the risks of that, to leave that security to go to something that's a little bit less secure, I was like, I need to enjoy it and it has to be beneficial. And I said to myself, I was like, if I ever find myself in a situation where I'm not enjoying an assignment, I'm not going to come and kill myself. I will do my best to either change the situation or, worst case scenario, just leave that assignment. But of course I didn't want to go into locum thinking, oh, the first job I go to I'm going to leave, or the first job I go to I don't enjoy, because that's a bit like shame. So I need to find ways to change this. If I'm not enjoying something, I either speak to management and see what changes can be done. And a lot of the time I think with locum, because they know that you're doing them a favor in a way, just as much as obviously you want the work too, you're doing them a favor, so they can be quite flexible, which is really nice, like, which is really good. Or if they're not flexible, then obviously you have the option to leave, which is a good thing about locum. I was a little bit worried about whether it was the right time to leave my job to go locum, because again, we're still in a pandemic, and I was like, is this the right time to leave? Is this the right time to leave a job not knowing what's going to happen to jobs? But one thing I've realised since I've been locum is I couldn't have left at a better time, really, because BMS as a career right now, as a job, is in such a high demand, because we are the people that are testing for the virus. We are the people that are still diagnosing other infections, you know. So the career, the jobs are there, even more so now, because a lot more people are getting tested. There's more of a demand for it. We're providing a service that is so essential right now. So even though I was worried at the start, thinking, have I made the right decision? I think at that time I definitely did. In the situation that we were in, I definitely did. And that's quite lucky, because there's not a lot of jobs where you could have just left under the circumstances, you know, and not be worried about where you're gonna find your next job. But with this, I actually made the decision to leave locum at the perfectly right time, and I'm so happy, because yeah, it's working out so far so good. So far so good. So to add on to the point about if I'm not enjoying any aspects of locum, I'm not gonna come and kill myself. I thought to myself, like, this is just actually a note to everyone. You are responsible for your own happiness. So if you're in a situation where you're not happy, it is down to you to change that situation, because nobody else is going to change for you. And life is too short to not be having fun, you know. Life is too short to not be enjoying any aspect of your life, because they say you spend, how long is it, like 40, 50 years of your life working. So if you're not enjoying it, then what's the point? You may as well put yourself in situations where you don't regret it in the future, where at least the majority of it is enjoyable. That's one thing I wasn't willing to compromise on. So yeah, so I got my first locum assignment, and I'm on a 2-week break right now, but I have actually left that first job. I was there for 6 weeks. I have managed to find something else. So again, it's not for me, it hasn't been terrible in a sense of like I'm just out here leaving jobs. No, it hasn't been bad, but of course I'm in a profession where it's easy to do that at the moment, especially in the current climate. Oh yes, I've got all the flour in there. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of milk. So my soya milk, I'm just gonna add. So yeah, I'm in a profession where it's not hard to find an assignment, but I have left. I wouldn't advise like leaving straight away, obviously, but ain't nothing wrong with it. If you can find another position where you think you'll be happier, go for it. Like, what can I say? I did it, so can I even really give advice on like give it a go? I gave it a go actually. Within the first 3 weeks, I was like, oh, I don't know. But then I gave it another sort of 3 weeks or so, and yeah, it wasn't changing, the feeling wasn't changing. So I was like, I'm gonna go because there's no point. Does anyone else taste dough? Yeah, I'm gonna have a quick look. How long am I gonna locum for? Right now, I am going to locum for as long as I can. That's the answer, because for me, do I regret going locum? Not at all. I think I made the right decision for me at the time, and actually it's working out. I'm happy with how it is so far. So how long do I intend on being locum for? Yeah, for as long as I can. If I'm still enjoying it in a year's time, big up, then I'll keep going. If I'm still enjoying it in 5 years' time, yeah, then I'll keep going. I have goals, yo. I have goals. In life, I feel like you have to experience certain situations to know what it is that you want to do, what you want to settle with, what you don't want to settle with. And yeah, I'm hoping that as I do locums, I go along with this, it will teach me just that. So we'll see. I can't multitask. This has been difficult, baking and talking at the same time while trying to be hygienic. Also, I don't have an apron. Did I say that to start with? I don't have an apron. So one thing I would say for anyone who is thinking about going locum is make sure that you do your research. Make sure you know what you're going into, what your benefits or what benefits you don't have, pros and cons, write a list down and work it out from there. Is it something that you should do at whatever stage you are in your life? When I was deciding to go locum, I struggled to find people in my profession that have gone locum to get advice, to get an idea of what it would be like. Of course, everyone's experience is going to be different, but I struggled to find anything, even online. It was always doctor-based, which is going to be completely different to a locum. Like, how easy is it for a doctor to find locum work? Might not be the same as how easy it is to find work as a biomedical scientist. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I need to do this for something in my field. So this is where this whole YouTube thing came from, because I was like, well, if there is somebody out there thinking of doing biomedical science and be a biomedical scientist locum in the future, then at least maybe they can come to this video and it'll help them. So I hope it does, because I could not find anything. I really could not find anything when I was looking, and it was so frustrating because I was like, I need to see either successful or not successful stories of people that have gone locum, and I couldn't find anything. So yeah, right, so what I'm going to do now is split my cake into two, or my mixture into two, so roughly half and half. Add 2 tablespoons of the cocoa powder. So I find it easier to have 2 tablespoons, one for the chocolatey mixture and one for the normal mixture. And you can do this whatever way you want, but I'm going to take a teaspoon at a time of each one alternatively and put it into my tin. So my cakes are all in now. I think this is where I'm going to end the video as well. So yeah, so this has been my 6-week locum update. I hope it's been useful or helpful for anyone. And yeah, any questions, like I said, as always. But yes, so I will show you what my cakes look like at the end in about, so they go away for about 45 minutes, 55 minutes to an hour sort of thing. So I'm going to check them after that and then let them rest for about 10 minutes before I cut them up and enjoy. Yes, so I hopefully see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. So this is the finished product of the cake. It looks so good. I did use a knife to check if it comes out clear, and it was. So what I'm going to do is just leave it to rest for a little bit.